everybody, welcome to a special edition of Big Sky Hobby Corner. That's right, we got another one to build. And oh man, this airplane has been a headache so far. But I'm glad to have it. It's here. We're going to build it and we're going to get right on it just as soon as we can. It is an ARF. I'll show you what it is here in just a few minutes, but this is one of the biggest ARFs available on the market. It's actually the airplane that came out that Great Plains answered to with their 30cc Avistar. So, well, that's enough chit chat. What do you say we move the camera around here and we'll lift the blanket and see what we have. That's right, folks. It's a 30cc Valiant. That's a 108-inch wingspan, and this thing is a beast. It's a beautiful airplane. The horizontal stabilizer itself is 37 inches wide. It does have the option where you can bolt on the tail surfaces for removal, so you can take it off, so you can move the darn thing around to the field or to your fun fly, and the kitty cat just can't wait to play in that box. Huh, would you look at that? Also, in the combo, what they offer is the Evolution GX33. So we're going to unbox that as well and look at that. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things about it, but it's available in the combo, so we're going to check it out and see what we have. So what do you say we reset the camera and see what's in the box? Okay, here we are. Once again, you're sitting on top of my fridge, just like we did with the Avistar. Got some pliers and a knife ready. Let's see what's in this bad boy. Now, you notice this box is taller than it is wide. That's because everything in the box is stacked like so, unlike the Avistar where everything was laying flat. So our wings are actually up and down and all that good stuff. So let's pop the cork on this bad boy. See what we got. Of course, like everything, sealed for freshness. Always best way I figured. Start at one end, back and forth, and voila. Okay, set the lid out of the way. All right, let's take a look here. We have our fuselage, some boxes, our landing gear. Let's see what we have here. Oh, here's our vertical stabilizer. Man, check out this elevator. You hear 37 inches, but you really don't think about it until you see it. So there's our horizontal stabilizer. And that's that in there. Okay. There's our right wing panel. Okay, if you notice, the flaps and the ailerons are not installed. So we're going to have to install them. Unlike the Avistar, everything was already hinged and glued. And if I understood correctly, what we're going to have to do on our flaps, we have hinge points. And our ailerons and all our other control surfaces are CA hinge. I'm not real sure I like that idea. Hinge points are so much stronger. The 30cc Avistar had hinge points all over it. I mean, that's all it had, which is a good rigid way to go. And look at the bottom side of our wing. It's our flap servo mount and our aileron servo mount, and they come with string attached so you can pull your wire. Yep, there's the holes for the hinge points on our flaps. Okay. They already pre-drilled that, so that's already done for us. These servos, instead of mounting flat, they mount on their side. If you notice here, we have a groove here, or a slot, for our servo arm to work. So that's our wing panel. From what I can tell, there is a little bit of wrinkling in the silver, so we'll have to blow that out. Okay? And it appears we got fiberglass wingtips on there. And of course we have our build manual. That's kind of important. And the other wing panel. Now if you notice, I didn't point out, on our aileron we have a slot in the cover for our horn. And we just have a panel here for our flap slot. This is actually the hole where your control arm comes out to hinge your flaps, or to actually control your flaps. Alright, what do we have here? Oh, there's our cabin windows. Right there. Cut those out and glue them in. Oh, they're already actually punched. All we gotta do is punch them out. And we have our wing tube. And it's zip tied in, nice and secure. All at one end. Packaged well. And don't let the covering be a bummer. This airplane has actually been out for a little while. And, oh, there's our control rods as well. There's our elevator control rods. Now this airplane actually has a pull-pull system. Okay, it has all of our control rods in there. But it has a pull-pull rudder and push rods for the elevator halves. I'm going to go ahead and set them back down in the box because I don't want to lose them. There's our wing tube. It's pretty substantial. But you got to understand, we're going through our fuselage and then our wing halves. This big of a wing tube will come in handy because we can actually use this when we set up our tail feathers as far as how parallel they are. I'll show you a cool trick with that. Alright, that's all that's in the first, what's that? Just cardboard. That's all that's in the first two little bays there. Like I said, everything's packed vertically. I'm not sure if I can get everything back in here, but we'll see. Alright. Carefully cut our tape. Get our landing gear out. Boy, that's nice and hardy. One thing that's kind of cool, this is the landing gear that came with the airplane, but you can buy the quarter scale Cub landing gear set. I think it's like 75 bucks, and it'll bolt right in place of this, so you can go with that. We're going to build this to the factory specifications to begin with, and later on we can modify it if we need to, or if we want to. Alright, that's that part. I bet you anything this box on the end has hardware in it. Everything's packed well, let's say, so. Got this right here. Appears to be a spacer, but you always check. You never know what they... Yeah, I think I feel something in there. Yep. So don't just always pitch your box. This thing is packed so well that ailerons and flaps. Okay, there's part of the hinge right there. Flaps, that's kind of cool. But we'll always go through there and check. Ailerons and flaps. And let's see what's what here. And it appears to be elevator halves. Yep, and then there's your rudder. Man, that's a lot of tail surface, so that ought to be really responsive. So I'm going to say the roll rate on this airplane probably not going to be huge, but you should have a lot of rudder response on that big sucker. But we'll see this spring when we fly it. Alright, okay, we have a cardboard protector over the fuselage. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get this packed back to what it was. So, yep, there's some hardware in this end box. Appears we have our fuel tank, and they even included fuel tubing. tail wheel and bracket, and our main landing gear. That appears to be like a 5-inch. Let's see. I'm sorry, 3.5 inch. Man, that looks bigger than 3.5. I don't know. We'll throw it on the tape measure and see what we have. But anyway, that's our landing gear and fuel tank, and all of our control hardware. It's got the pull cable in there for the rudder. Yep. Wing bolts, hardware, mounting hardware, axles, all kinds of goodies. Some of the stuff I've never seen before, so that ought to be interesting for all of us. Okay. Get that out of the way. Whoa. Alright. There's our pre-painted cowl. Looks to be pretty good shape, and it even comes with the mounting hardware on the front of the cowl and our wheel pants. It's already got the blind nuts installed for a quick, easy operation. Now, like you guys have probably seen, we fly off grass, and sometimes wheel pants can be a problem. For our Hangar 9 Taylorcraft, the wheel pants were a problem. They were dragging and causing the aircraft to try to nose over on takeoff. Took the wheel pants off, the problem was eliminated. The Avistar does just fine. Because there's plenty of wheel clearance between the bottom of the wheel pant and the bottom of the wheel to keep it up off the grass. We'll see where this puts us. That'll determine whether we leave them on or fly pantless. I like to fly without pants. Okay. Now we have a box in here that is glued to the other box, making sure this big boy is going to stay in place. Oh man, look at that. Oh, that is beautiful. Definitely a bigger fuselage than the Avistar. Can't even fit it all in the camera this close, and you're on top of my fridge. But the covering looks fairly well. Of course, we're still under a plastic. I can see some wrinkling here. We'll iron out. Everything inside appears to be light ply construction. All the blind nuts are in place and glued. That wasn't done on the Avistar. They are done here. That's cool. And of course, we have our windscreen. And of course we have our motor box. Now the way this thing is built, that the Evolution GX33 should bolt right up to this firewall the way it is currently. There's no problem if you want to go with a different motor. No problem at all. Oh, it's even laser engraved. Let's see if we can get that up there. Everything's laser engraved on what's where and where to put what. That's pretty neat. All right. Well, what do you say like we did with the Avistar and lay out everything, and we'll go through it piece by piece. Okay? Peel the plastic off of it and see what we have. Okay. Kind of quickly laid everything out. Let's see here. We got this massive monster elevator. Holy crap. I already see some wrinkling in this silver, which it's really kind of the one of the necessary evils. Anytime you go with a metallic colored plastic film, it will tend to wrinkle a lot more. I see some wrinkling here in the white. So really, honestly, before I get started, I'm going to go over these parts and iron everything out and get it laid down really good. Maybe blow them out. But 37 inches right there. Okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, this has the bolt-on feature for the tail feathers, so you can take it off. I'm probably going to just go ahead and epoxy everything, just for setup time. I want to fly the airplane, not go to the airplane and build it every time. So most likely, because I just have my truck, I don't have a trailer, this will be glued on, and it'll probably be the only airplane I take to the field that day. I may throw the Avistar up front, the little Avistar. But anyway, we have a slot for our vertical stabilizer or vertical fin, and then our bolt holes to bolt everything in. So we'll bolt it, we'll glue it, that sucker's going to stay there. Okay, but however, outside of the wrinkles, the covering actually looks pretty good. The striping is not printed, it's actually more covering on top of covering, and none of it is lifted on here. So I mean, get it straightened out, it'll be quite beautiful. So there's that. I'll put it back in the plastic to kind of help protect it until we get to the building phase of this. And our vertical stabilizer. Okay, still some more wrinkling. But this is our vertical stabilizer. This is pretty good size, actual size right there. Those of you who have seen me in person, I'm a big dude. I've got these are huge hands. Just to kind of give you an idea how big that sucker is. Again, beautiful colors, but we got some wrinkling to take care of. No big deal. All the hinges are pre-slotted for CA hinges. I'm not real sure about that on this big of an airplane. But anyway, we have our tabs here. This is the tab that goes in the slot in the elevator, and this is a tab that will go in the slot in the fuselage. And this back side, this actually covers the back side of the fuselage. It'll lay in there like so. No big deal. Airplanes wrinkle, you know, it happens. Go ahead. Get it back in there. Just like a tent when you go camping, you get it out, you know it went in. When it comes time to go, yeah, it'll be all right. Okay, wing half. Always stay positive. I love the smell of a fresh airplane. It's yeah, it's like when you open that bag of coffee, or can of coffee. It's pretty huge. Man, look at that. Got the Valiant stripes. Got some wrinkling to take care of. Again, no big deal. There's our strings for the servo wires. An alignment peg, and got a cutout here for the canopy when we slide everything together. And there is our hole for our wing bolts, and beautiful laser work done though. I mean, they even engraved Hangar 9 right in there. Again, everything is pre-slotted, so you don't have to worry about alignment or anything. It's already taken care of. Push rod exit for the flaps. And then our pre-drilled holes for our flaps. I've seen that setup before, but I've never done that setup before, so this will be interesting. We'll have basically it'll be a peg with a horn on it that has a slot. We'll install the pegs, and we're going to have to make sure they're straight. And then when we attach the flap, we'll have pins where everything pins together. So that'll be fun. Like I say, I've never done that before. I've seen it before. I've got all week off. So this thing will probably be ready to fire up by next weekend. I'm hoping. But I've also got my kids too all week. Mom has to work. So we'll just have to see how far we get. I'd like to get it done. And I know Ryan, he's my helper on this, on these airplanes. He's just as batshit crazy as I am about about things that fly. He's going to be one of them kids that's going to be a private pilot by the time he's 17 if he can help it. Okay. No need to look at the other wing half. You know what it looks like. This fuselage. Now I'm not going to pull this out of the plastic. I do want to go ahead and keep it protected. Our windscreen just comes in its own wrapper. We just take it to there so we know it's the windshield. But when we go to build this, I'm going to be a little more thorough on showing you stuff. I'll actually snake the camera inside there. But as you can kind of see, everything, it's all light ply construction. There's no balsa that I can see in the fuselage. We got places for our switches. And since it's a Horizon product, it actually came ready to accept Spectrum. Look at that, isn't that cool? But it came actually ready to accept Spectrum radio gear, which I don't fly Spectrum, I fly Futaba. It's good solid equipment. This is the slot that accepts the tab that was in the vertical stabilizer fin that comes up. And of course we're going to epoxy all that. And right there, like I said, it had a bolt-on feature where we could just bolt the tail feathers on. It already has all the blind nuts in place, which is a good thing. And we are going to use the bolts. However, we're going to bolt it together and epoxy it together. That way that sucker's good and rigid. And got our windscreen. We're going to leave the plastic on it to protect it. And we'll look at the cowl right quick. Like I say, it looks really good. Boy, it's shiny. No dead spots in that. Look at that. And the only thing, if I understood the directions right, the only thing we're really going to have to cut out is maybe this area, if that at all, with the 33cc Evolution engine. Now, this combination is $899. Available at horizonhobby.com or your local hobby shop. I recommend going to your local hobby shop. Keep those guys in business. Over this past winter, we've lost 2 hobby shops. Our local hobby shop and the hobby shop back home in Oklahoma, Circle E Hobbies. They both closed the doors. December 31st is going to be the last day of business for them. And actually, it's kind of ironic, the same day, both hobby shops put all their racking and storage systems up for sale. It's kind of a sad deal. Support those guys, man. Show them some love. Okay, well, I'm going to get all this back in the box, and we'll take a look at that motor. Okay, now here we have the GX33 made by Evolution. It's a made in China motor. Of course, I think that's where everything's pretty much made these days. But it's the one that comes with a combo. It's the one that's recommended for this airplane, so we'll see. Well, let's see what we have in the box here. Got our instruction manual, and of course, you know that's important. It seems to be pretty informative. It's pretty thick. Oh well, it's English and all the way through Italian too. So we got lots of packing. Check your packing for parts. They don't do the nice foam cutouts like they used to do years ago. But we have our Evolution ignition. Looks pretty solid. We'll see though. And then it actually came with its own fuel tubing, filter, and all that clunk weight and all that good stuff. That's pretty cool. This is actually your clunk, and that's your inline fuel filter. So evidently we're going to have plenty of fuel line for this model. And this is our pit style muffler. Yeah. So nice black, it looks pretty cool. Should bolt right up. And then the motor. Double bagged. Smells like a machine shop. Now I was reading on this thing before, and there's our choke, like so, and our throttle is on the other side, free and easy. And of course we have our high and low settings, and our fuel inlet, and there's our crank sensor right here. And this being a 33cc engine, I was reading on it before that an 18.8 prop flies on this best. So that's kind of handy because it's the same size prop that I could find to tune well on the big Avastar. Now I'm looking on the plug. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the RC Excel logo. So that makes me wonder if the Evolution ignition isn't actually made by RC Excel. If so, we got a good ignition. I love their ignitions. They're inexpensive and they work well. So there's our spark plug. Now I've heard people cuss these engines and I've heard people praise these engines. So we'll just have to see. If this engine flops, there's our magnet for our sensor. If this engine flops, well, we'll just get like a DLE 35 RA or something and put on the airplane. But we'll give it a shot. See what we can do. I don't knock it down right off the get-go. You know, maybe it tunes a little different or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna have my buddy Daryl in on when it comes time to run this. He's kind of our local guru on a lot of this liquid fuel stuff. So he's the guy I go to when I have problems, and he's usually pretty informative and very helpful. But that's our engine. It is pretty, and it'll mount in the cowl upside down, of course. And what I understand, the airplane and this engine with the standoffs, I've seen a couple aluminum standoffs in the hardware. It ought to bolt right up. I mean, just bolt and go kind of thing. And from what I can tell, it's pretty cool. It has the rail mount available as well. So if you don't want to use the back plate mount, you can just take that off. You can see the back plate mount and the crankcase cover are two separate pieces. So you just pull the bolts out, take your back plate off, and then put your bolts back in. You should be good to go. And then you can use the rail mount system if you want to. So that is our, I'll get that out, mounting hardware. There's the muffler. Sure is sharp looking. So I hope we can get it. We have a good running one here because I'd like to see this operate really well. You can see how it goes, like so. So that's pretty neat. Wonder, yeah, it wouldn't work if you mounted it right side up because then your exhaust would be coming out of the top. But yeah, that's what we have. I'm looking forward to getting started on it. Probably not tonight. Because I'm beat. My day starts at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm usually in bed by 8 o'clock, but that's just getting old. So that's our motor, that's our airplane. I'm really looking forward to getting started on it and making a lot of memories with this, with my sons and myself and my daughter. Even if she wants to fly, she's more than welcome to join in. One thing that I'm kind of speculating, they also advertise this as a large-scale trainer. If it flies anything like the Avastar 30cc, I'm going to say they're wrong about that. It's not a hard airplane to fly, but you do have to fly it. It'll go where you point it. Now, it doesn't have the self-righting capabilities that a trainer airplane has. It is very aerobatic, and it can move very fast if you want it to. Not something you'd want to start out with as your first airplane. You'll be disappointed. So we'll just have to see when I fly it what we have. If it's like the 30cc Avastar, to where it is, it's a trainer airplane, you can fly it. It's that easy. I call bullshit on that, and I'm going to be apprehensive about calling bullshit on this thing being a trainer as well. But we'll have to fly it and see what happens. That's going to be the proof in it right there. But no, I think it'll be a fun airplane to fly. From what I understand, if you set everything up the way the manual says, it's really a well-behaving airplane. So I'm hoping that's true. Oops, gotta have that. So maybe tomorrow I'll get my build room cleaned up. I actually started another build. I was just going to do it off camera because nobody asked me to cover it. It's actually an Ultra Sport 1000. I thought it'd be fun to build. That's really going to try my skill level because there is a lot of carving in it. It's just blocks of balsa, sheets of balsa, sticks of balsa, and that's it. They kind of give you a general idea on the plans. But that's going to be more of a long-term project, so I'm going to slide that out of the way for now. We're going to build the Valiant and get it ready to fly. I've got some more stuff coming in the mail for it, a couple servos, props, switches, batteries, things like that. But it definitely should be something fun to do, and I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then. Have a good one, guys.